The United States was the first country to manufacture nuclear weapons and is the only country to have used them in combat. With the separate bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in World War II. Before and during the Cold War, it conducted over 1,000 nuclear tests and tested many long-range nuclear weapons delivery systems. Between 1940 and 1996, the U.S. federal government spent at least $9.61 trillion United States dollars in present-day terms on nuclear weapons, including platforms development, command and control, maintenance, waste management and administrative costs. It is estimated that the United States produced more than 70,000 nuclear warheads since 1945, more than all other nuclear weapon states combined. The Soviet Union, Russia has produced approximately 55,000 nuclear warheads since 1949. France built 1,110 warheads since 1960. The United Kingdom built 835 warheads since 1952. China built about 600 warheads since 1964. And other nuclear powers built fewer than 500 warheads altogether since they developed their first nuclear weapons. Until November 1962, the vast majority of U.S. nuclear tests were above ground. After the acceptance of the Partial Nuclear Test Ban Treaty, all testing was relegated underground, in order to prevent the dispersion of nuclear fallout. By 1998, at least $759 million United States dollars had been paid to the Marshall Islanders in compensation for their exposure to U.S. nuclear testing. By March 2021, over $2.5 billion United States dollars in compensation had been paid to U.S. citizens exposed to nuclear hazards as a result of the U.S. nuclear weapons program. In 2019, the US and Russia possessed a comparable number of nuclear warheads. Together, these two nations possess more than 90% of the world's nuclear weapons stockpile. As of 2019, the US has an inventory of 6,185 nuclear warheads. Of these, 2,385 are retired and awaiting dismantlement and 3,800 are part of the US stockpile. Of the stockpiled warheads, the U.S. stated in its March 2019 New START declaration that 1,365 are deployed on 656 ICBMs, SLBMs, and strategic bombers. The United States first began developing nuclear weapons during World War II under the order of President Franklin Roosevelt in 1939. Motivated by the fear that they were engaged in a race with Nazi Germany to develop such a weapon. After a slow start under the direction of the National Bureau of Standards, at the urging of British scientists and American administrators, the program was put under the Office of Scientific Research and Development. And in 1942 it was officially transferred under the auspices of the United States Army and became known as the Manhattan Project, an American, British and Canadian joint venture. Under the direction of General Leslie Groves, over 30 different sites were constructed for the research, production, and testing of components related to bomb making. These included the Los Alamos National Laboratory at Los Alamos, New Mexico, under the direction of physicist Robert Oppenheimer, the Hanford Plutonium Production Facility in Washington, and the Y-12 National Security Complex in Tennessee. By investing heavily in breeding plutonium in early nuclear reactors and in the electromagnetic and gaseous diffusion enrichment processes for the production of uranium-235, the United States was able to develop 3 usable weapons by mid-1945. The Trinity test was a plutonium implosion design weapon tested on the 16th of July 1945, with around a 20 kiloton yield. Faced with a planned invasion of the Japanese home islands scheduled to begin on 1 November 1945, and with Japan not surrendering, President Harry S. Truman ordered the atomic raids on Japan. On 6 August 1945, the U.S. detonated a uranium gun design bomb, Little Boy, over the Japanese city of Hiroshima with an energy of about 15 kilotons of TNT, killing approximately 70,000 people. Among them 20,000 Japanese combatants and 20,000 Korean slave laborers. and destroying nearly 50,000 buildings. 3 days later, on the 9th of August, the US attacked Nagasaki using a plutonium implosion design bomb, Fat Man, with the explosion equivalent to about 20 kilotons of TNT, destroying 60% of the city and killing approximately 35,000 people. Among them 23,200 to 28,200 Japanese munitions workers, 2,000 Korean slave laborers, and 150 Japanese combatants. On the 1st of January 1947, the Atomic Energy Act of 1946 took effect, and the Manhattan Project was officially turned over to the United States Atomic Energy Commission. On the 15th of August 1947, the Manhattan District was abolished. The American atomic stockpile was small and grew slowly in the immediate aftermath of World War II. And the size of that stockpile was a closely guarded secret. However, there were forces that pushed the United States towards greatly increasing the size of the stockpile. Some of these were international in origin and focused on the increasing tensions of the Cold War, including the loss of China, the Soviet Union becoming an atomic power, and the onset of the Korean War.